While we're exploring Route 3, how about I continue on the tangent I started in the last video when I started talking about the Pokemon you could find in this area. I wasn't done with Wellspring Cave quite yet, because I'm missing the most obvious Pokemon of all, the one that you're going to see show up on the screen any minute now, Drillbur! That's right, Drillbur. It evolves into Excadrill, and quite frankly, Excadrill is a fiend. No wonder it's one of the rare non-legendaries that are considered uber, because just look at those stats for a second. First off, it starts off with 135 base attack, which is already a ton. It has just enough moves to make good use of that attack stat as well. Its defenses are a bit lacking, but fortunately it has a lot of HP to compensate, and that ground steel typing definitely helps. Great offensive and defensive typing. I should say, well, offensive not because of steel, but because Stabbed Earthquake is always a welcome boon. And then there's the whole speed aspect. 88 base speed is not a whole lot until you factor in Sand Rush. Once you factor in Sand Rush, as a result, you get, 88 speed plus Sand Rush. It hits, the sweet spot. It's not so slow that even +2 speed won't do a thing, like, for example, Shell Smash Caracosta, for example, and yet it's not so fast that you feel that those speed points are being put to waste once Sand Rush is activated. As a result, it's the sweet spot. Some of these stat points can go into HP and attack, which is fantastic. It's just as I said, it's a fiend. It's one of the best Pokemon in the game. You'd be a fool to pass it up, and it looks so freaking badass. In fact, the most surprising thing about Excadrill's appearance would be that it's less than 3 feet tall. I would have imagined something like that would be at least 4 feet tall, if not 5. But no, it's below 3 feet tall, so yeah, I'm not sure why they did that either. It looks like it should be much bigger, but I guess the saying is true, the best things come in small packages. As for Route 3, there are 2 new evolutionary lines introduced in this area now that we're done with the Wellspring Cave. First, we have Pidove, which evolves into Unpheasant. It's this game's version of the Pidgey line, as we see Sharon over there in grass that's a bit different from the grass we're used to seeing. He's probably going to explain what it is, but I'm going to do it for you anyway. That dark tall grass is, basically, I'm going to call it double grass, because there are 2 things that make this grass special. One, you're going to find Pokemon of a higher level than in regular grass, and as Sharon just said, you're going to be confronted to wild double battles. This is how you do it. Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum had their own way of doing that, but here it's tall grass that's different from usual. So if I don't encounter any wild double battles on this session, don't worry, we're going to encounter one sooner or later in this LP, so you're not going to be missing out on anything. But yeah, as I was saying, Pidove is Unova's counterpart to Pidgey and Starly and stuff like that. And oh, we got a double battle here. I know, because the music is slightly different when you're either fighting a wild double battle or something that's in shaking tall grass, such as Audino or Emolga, or any random battle in Victory Road. So those are the 3 circumstances when the music is going to be slightly different. But yeah, the Pidove line, I would say, is a slight improvement over Pidgeot, mostly because it's slightly stronger and faster. However, it retains Pidgeot's big move pool woes. It barely has anything to use that higher attack stat on. So, unfortunately, Unpheasant is often relegated to a support role. And if you look over Unpheasant's stats, because Unpheasant has moves like Taunt and Hypnosis and stuff like that, but when you look at its stats, it's not so good. 80 HP, 80 defense, 50 special defense and 93 or something like that. I don't remember the number, but it's in the low 90s in speed. It's definitely not the best stat spread for support Pokemon. So it seems like they decided to do a mix of Noctowl and Pidgeot, but ultimately didn't work out so well because the stats are just a bit too low, the move pool is too barren. So feel free to give it a miss any day. I know the odds of me using Unpheasant are about the same odds as Anderson Cooper ever joining Fox News. There's another Pokemon that's new to this area that I want to talk about, and it's Blitzel, which evolves into Zebstrika. There's an item down there. Let's see what it is. It's another Great Ball. So, it's probably one that I'm never going to use since whenever I want a high catch rate, I always use Dusk Balls nowadays. So, for the most part, it's either Pokeballs or Dusk Balls. Great Balls are just meh. They don't have much appeal, to be perfectly honest. Anyway, Zebstrika. I guess it's sort of an attempt to correct at least one of the problems that Luxray had, namely not enough speed, because Zebstrika has a lot of speed. That's no problem. The problem is that it comes at a very high cost. It has much lower attack than Luxray, and on top of that, the move pool is arguably even worse. And Luxray's biggest problem was the move pool to begin with, because almost all of its support moves had low power, except for maybe Crunch, but it relied so much on the Elemental Fangs, for example. And for Zebstrika, it's even worse, because it's stuck with crap like Flame Charge. No Flame Charge. No! It doesn't even need the speed boost from Flame Charge. Scratch that. Double Kick, no kidding there, it actually gets Double Kick as an egg move. It also has a Rock Smash in case you're interested. So, yeah, Zebstrika is possibly even worse than Luxray, and I've been pretty harsh on Luxray in the past, so it tells you that if you want a competent electric type in this game, you'd better wait for something like Galvantula or Electros, for example. So that's about it for the Pokemon that can be found on Route 3. Speaking of that, it reminds me of something that I wanted to talk about, namely the fact that even the route numbers were given a reboot in this game. It's because if you've noticed in the previous games, no two routes had the same number because, well, Johto picked up where Kanto left off. Then Hoenn started off at 101, Sinnoh started off at 201, then here comes Unova to start over at 1. The reason for that is because, well, maybe they just didn't want to keep increasing it every generation, so several generations from now we'd be at like Route 1201 or something like that, which would be really weird, but the official reasoning is that this region is so far away from the previous 4 that they could feel free to start anew, as they did with the original Unova Dex that was in the first Black and White. So, we're done with Route 3, so we're about to enter another one of these toll booths. I think potions are important for a trip. It comes in the video right after I say they don't. Should have bought more Pokeballs. The Pokemon I wanted to catch just came out and I missed it. Always a good idea to carry more Pokeballs than you need with you, just in case a shiny pops up or something. And, oh, they're talking about me on that wall over there. Well, I would imagine so, since they talked about someone who was victorious against Ceylon, Shilly, and Cress. Let's see. I'm gonna go with At Home, just because that's the kind of person I am. The thing everybody knows, or the thing nobody knows? The thing nobody knows, of course, because there's no fun in sharing the thing everybody knows. I'd say you're quite relaxed, that's it. I don't get anything for that. Oh well, doesn't matter. Let's enter Nacrene City, a pearl of a place. Oh, I like that pun. But anyway, Sharon's waiting for me at the entrance, and don't worry, it's not for a battle. But I don't remember what he wants, though. If you go straight from here, there's a Pokemon Center. Yeah, I kinda noticed. Why does he tell me that? Oh, he gives me some Chesto Berries, which are useful if I want to wake up my Pokemon in a pinch. They can also wake up your Pokemon instantly when held without wasting a turn. Another piece of advice, Nacrene City's gym leader uses normal types. If you have a fighting type Pokemon, it might give you a big advantage. We have not met any fighting types yet, but we're going to be visiting an area before the gym that has some. Not that we're going to be using them, I'm going to be using Drillbur exclusively, but something to keep in mind. Anyway, this lady here is Loblolly. What she does is that she can send some special items in your house in the dream world. Nothing? For now? Oh well, at least you know she has something to do with the dream world. I'm going to cover it in greater detail once I get around to talking about the dream world in the first place. Yeah, Nacrene was pretty quickly becoming sort of a ghost town. I suppose it's the way I'm interpreting what she just said, but people started using the warehouses as studios and houses, and the city enjoyed sort of rebirth after that. And this guy here is talking about the fact that the more badges you have, the higher leveled your traded Pokemon can be, and they'll still obey you. My Drillbur's happiness is a lot higher than just a few minutes ago when I caught it. So let's head up here. Okay, this trainer here wants to trade Cottony for a Petilil in white, but it's the reverse in black. So, what you have to do, you have to go catch a Petilil or a Cottony, depending on your version in Pinwheel Forest, which is just past here. Then you can catch two of them, then trade one for the other one, should you be interested in that. And oh, that's the exact same place. Sorry about that. So, Petilil and Cottony really aren't version exclusives very much. Nonetheless, I picked white because of Lilligant, because I don't want to have to breed my own Petilil that won't have a nickname, especially since breeding only comes much later in the game. And let's see. Oh, we got some Netballs in stock now. Netballs are pretty useful against water and bug Pokemon, but still not quite as effective as Dusk Balls, which on top of that work on every kind of Pokemon. So, we also have some super potions, super repels, stuff like that. So we're making some slight progress in the stock that we can buy from these shops. When you choose help at the PC at a Pokemon Center, the PC now has a built-in help system in case you're a novice and you need some explanations on certain things about the game. She's talking about Audino in case you aren't aware of it at the time you reach Nacrene City. Funny fact about Audino is that in the Pokédex it's found between the Wellspring Cave Pokemon and the Pinwheel Forest outskirts Pokemon, which means that it's, well, I wouldn't say it's native area, but according to its Pokédex placement, it sort of belongs in Nacrene City from a certain standpoint. Anyway, over there, we got some more people. The warehouse, they're selling something good inside. Wow, they must be selling something really good if he... excuse me? Can I talk to you? Thank you. Even though it's just an old warehouse that became so popular, it makes me take a second. Okay. Not very useful, so let's see what this warehouse has. Yeah. Started a shop in this warehouse, so what are you selling? Okay, we got X items, guard spec, and dire hits, all items that I don't give a lick about. Dire hit in Unova, it's called dire hit, no difference. It's very powerful when a move is a critical hit, but it's just not worth using something to increase your critical hit rate unless it's called super luck, but otherwise, don't bother. Just don't bother. DS wireless communications. Yeah, I think we've already figured that out by this point. So, there's one last building on this street. Let's see what's inside. Okay, Berg used this warehouse until 2 years ago. Berg is the gym leader of Castelia City, which is the next city. So we're not going to be going there for a while yet. That thing you have is a Pokédex? Yes, it is. Okay, I'll help you. How? Which Pokemon did you choose? Well, I chose Snivy. Do you have Snivy? Yes, and I'm running out of time, so I guess I'm going to be getting that item in the next video.